the pursuit of Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and the corresponding 169 SDG targets offer the world a new direction. Tourism can and must play a significant role in delivering sustainable solutions. Some governments are struggling to ensure tourism revenues are being used to improve the environment and the living conditions of their residents. Funds are seeping from the system for various reasons, and the burden is affecting lives and the habitat that many come to enjoy in the area. Many regions of the world are dependent on tourism sustainable practices contributing to the preservation and future enjoyment of these areas. At some destinations, the demands on the area that are being visited consume many resources while giving little back to the local community. There are ways to visit regions and concurrently assist in the conservation and/or improvements of these areas. Some tourists are conscious of this and have begun doing their part by bringing reusable water bottles, using their own shopping bags, and sponsoring local organizations that are helping with the preservation of the area. The influx of tourists stimulates the economy. However, many times, this is not enough. Governments' budgets get strained by other needs and monies can be diverted. What if there was a sustainable, technology-enabled tax infrastructure for ecotourism development and restoration for your area? Something developed specifically for this purpose. A verifiable process or system in place would ensure the collection, management, and dissemination of funds occurs in a transparent, continuous, and corruption-free manner. It also engages visitors and tourists by having them participate in where the funds are applied, and closes the loop so they can see that their input made a difference. The potential is to create a virtuous cycle, where sustained tourism tax income streams are deployed to improve local conditions impacting tourists' impression of the country, leading to more tourism and more funds to deploy. The key to enabling this virtuous cycle is transparency, and now with blockchain-based technology, we have the key to unlocking the benefits for your country's citizens and for ecotourism development and conservation. The solution will provide income flow to address specific ecotourism initiatives. In turn, this will develop trust, transparency, and eliminate tampering. It will also facilitate the compliance of the UN SDG objective and be an example of sustainable development of nature and culture. This could be achieved by a levy on tourists. You might have some levies in place. For example, accommodation tax, tourism visa fee, or tourism development contribution. Let me explain how it works from the government perspective and from the visitor perspective. From the government perspective, a traveler books their travel plans. It could be a flight, hotel, train, cruise, etc. Part of the booking process is an ecotourism levy which will be paid by any tourist purchasing travel. Alternatively, this could be a departure tax. The key point is that the levy is labeled via smart contracts to an account on a private secure blockchain and allocated directly to a tourism development. We will get into the specifics of exactly how this happens in a minute, but first, let's take a look at the experience from the tourist's perspective. From the visitor perspective, at any time, the traveler will have access to an application that they can use to fund specific projects. For our example, we are choosing the fictitious country of Wakanda. First, the individual will need to download the application and create a profile. In order to incent downloading, every visitor that gets the app could automatically get a predetermined amount of Wakandan dollars for which they can control the allocation. First, travelers can select how they allocate their Wakandan dollars. They can select specific projects from a list. They can submit their photos of infrastructure that needs attention. Some examples are ideas on how to create energy production in an area, or retrofitting existing infrastructure to make it more sustainable, and so on. The tourist can assign some or all of their funds to their proposed new initiative. Or they can select from one of the works in need of funding and already in progress that interest them, such as provide support to cities and governments to find solutions to future mobility needs that minimize environmental impact while making transportation safer and more affordable for all. If the traveler decides to submit their own project, all they need to do is snap a picture of the desired issue and submit with a Wakandan dollar allocation. The application will track the specific time and location at which the picture was taken, so that the government can analyze where the most interest for change exists. The application and the profile email account allow you to stay in touch with the tourist even after they leave. You can entice them to visit again and have them share with their friends how great the experience was. This is done through a variety of touch points, all designed to let them know that their project choice during their travels made a difference to your citizens and the environment. For example, once a project allocation or request is submitted, the user will see a thank you message and receive an email to confirm their allocation or donation. Once a project is approved and a contractor is signed, another notification will be emailed. Once completed, a notification with the before and after picture is sent along with a nice note letting them know they made a difference and allowing them to forward the message to their friends or post on social media. The entire process remains transparent and available for review at all times. Once the funds are sent, the government would assign it to a specific project from a list of eco-tourism initiatives, which could include both those the government knows about and those that have been input by tourists using photos and the allocation of funds feature. Some of the initiatives are building infrastructure, preserving national parks, forest, local heritages, cleaning oceans, supporting local businesses and local education. From the government side, you will have a website where various projects can be analyzed based upon a number of tourists and amount of funding allocated, geographic region, category or improvement, and other factors you deem important. Advanced analytics and AI can be applied to group and prioritize projects. In addition to projects, a set of contractors and project auditors would be stakeholders in the system. The contractors will bid on projects and the auditors assess how well the work is done. The bidding, the auditors score for the quality of each project, and the reputation score assessed for each contractor are tracked on the blockchain. All aspects of funds flow, bidding, and auditor selection are always disclosed via an audit log since it resides on the blockchain, cannot be changed or manipulated. How a smart contract works. The visitor agrees on a project to be funded. The government accepts the allocation and this information is written in computer code and a smart contract is triggered. The work order goes out and the work begins. Once work is done, the visitor will receive a photo of the finished work. Why are smart contracts so important? Autonomy. You're the one making the agreement. There's no need to rely on a broker, lawyer or other intermediaries to confirm. Incidentally, this also knocks out the danger of manipulation by a third party, since execution is managed automatically by the network, rather than by one or more possibly biased individuals who may err. Trust. Documents are encrypted on a shared ledger. There's no way that someone can say they lost it. Backup on the blockchain. Each and every one of the computers, nodes, has the information. Documents are duplicated many times over. Safety. Cryptography keeps documents safe. Speed. Ordinarily the process would take time and paperwork to manually process documents. Smart contracts use software code to automate tasks, thereby shaving hours off a range of business processes. Savings. Smart contracts save you money since they knock out the presence of an intermediary. You would, for instance, have to send paperwork to various areas before work begins and have to pay various individuals on the way to your transaction. Funds secure. The funds will only be transferred to the previously designated recipient, eliminating corruption or mismanagement of funds. The technological advances of blockchain via smart contracts can give an opportunity to countries such as Curaçao, New Zealand and many more. Let's take a look at these two countries as an example of how a tourism levy could impact their economy. Currently, Curaçao has approximately 1 million foreign visitors. A tourism levy of $2 per visitor could raise $2 million a year, that could go directly to sustainable projects. In the case of New Zealand, currently, they have approximately 3 million tourists. A tourism levy of $2 would generate an additional $6 million a year that could go directly to sustainable projects. What if you could create sustained income streams for ecotourism initiatives, raised from the tourists themselves? Ensure tourism levies are allocated properly. Improve the quality of life for your constituents. What if you could? Increase transparency to both tourist and local citizens. Enable your country to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And finally, enhance your country's sustainability reputation by advertising the use of this initiative. Thank you for watching, and have safe and responsible travels.